This podcast is part of the 80s Ruled Network. Visit the 80s Ruled on Facebook for more 1980s awesomeness.
Welcome back to another episode of 1980s Now, a weekly examination of the importance of 1980s pop culture and its continued influence today. My name is Will, and joining me as always are my friends and co-hosts, Kat and John. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
That was smoother than I thought it would be. It could have been a little even smoother, but... Hey, and while we are recording this episode, we're actually streaming live on Facebook right now. Well, unless you're listening to this after we recorded it, then we're not doing it for you live. But if you're watching us live on Facebook, you can actually hear us every week on our audio podcast, which is available on every platform, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc., and so on. And if you're listening to this at some point in the future, you can join us on a future live podcast. Follow us on Facebook for more information. Hey, on today's show, we're going to be talking about the top, is it the top five when something is awful? Or is it the worst five? The bottom five?
We'll
just say five of the worst.
There you go.
So it has to be the top.
The top best worst.
The top five best worst.
There you go.
1980s films with great music. And we put together this list by searching a number of different lists on the internet and asking for your feedback, and we're going to incorporate that into the five films we're going to present. It was hard getting it to five. I mean, there's tons out there, but we could talk a little bit about the criteria that we were considering later. But before that, we're going to review current news stories related to 1980s media, including which legendary composer is diminuendoing. Why Drago refuses to break Rocky, and how a vampire spawned a hairstyle that won't die. And later on the show, we're going to be giving away this giant book, and I'm looking forward to giving it away because this thing's heavy. I got to actually back up to show it on the screen.
Are you tired of carrying it around? Is that the problem?
Yeah. I mean, this is, John, you've got one of these, and actually this isn't the fancy collector's one that you have, which comes with that sleeve.
It's a beast. It must be a couple pounds.
But this, it still weighs the same, I'm sure, that you did. And this was provided to us by the folks over at Cook and Becker, who have a lot of cool, different nostalgic items you can buy over there, cookandbecker.com. Now, you're not going to get this one because the first one they sent me is entirely in Italian. So maybe we can find an Italian listener that we could give away this one.
Speak up.
We have another
You're
one
from Italy.
And let's do this, hit the desk. We have one in English, and we'll be giving that away later in the show. And it's really easy to win it. We'll tell you about that later. Hey, a couple of announcements. All right, let me try this again here and say, hey, here we go. Join us on Facebook. Oh, I have my sound effects. Join us on Facebook Live on August 30th at 9 p.m. Eastern. So where we are right now, because every month we do live 1980s trivia, and we give away a $50 gift card to the lucky winner, the person that knows the most about the 1980s pop culture. And this month, at the end of August, we're going to have a special surprise guest, an actor who appeared in nearly 24 films and TV shows throughout the 1980s. And I guarantee you're a big fan of at least one of them, right? But probably more than one.
Could it be?
Maybe two or three. And I'll give you a hint because she will be asking questions related to the films that she appeared in during our favorite decade. So I guarantee you know these movies. These are huge, very popular films. She'll be asking questions related to those films on August 30th at 9 p.m. Eastern when we do 1980s trivia. Follow us on Facebook for more information, right? Anything else?
All right.
No? Is that all? How do I do this? There we go. Look at that. Okay. Hey, and like we'd say every week on this show, let's get caught up on 1980s news.
Oh, wait. I forgot to show off my shirt. Can I show off my shirt really quick?
So what's up with your shirt? I mean, we know you love Duran Duran, but is there...
Look at it. It's from Hyde Park.
Oh, it's from your concert.
This is my concert shirt. Yes.
Okay. Look, we heard a couple episodes ago how much she loved being at the concert, but she's not satisfied. She's going to try to see them 2 more times now.
Really?
No,
Yes.
Will shot down my third attempt,
shot
so
down.
no.
Good for you.
Time, yeah.
As well you should.
What? You're sure you're encouraging her to try or encouraging me to shoot her down?
No, encouraging her to try.
And I thought that you were saying,
Yes.
Good job, Will. You
Way
shot
to
down.
go, Will. Crush her dreams. That's my man.
My
no,
response
that's not
literally
what I
was,
saying.
I think it sounds crazy, Kat. And
It is. But
just
I'm up
gotta-
for crazy.
I'm all
crazy.
full crazy right now. I got plenty of crazy.
But she's
Right, you have enough
crazy for the
crazy.
Duran. She's
Yeah,
got
she
to
is.
do it.
I got
Hey, this week on 1980s News per Variety, legendary film composer John Williams eyes retirement after scoring Indiana Jones. You know, I just realized we should
Wow.
make look, folks in in Facebook. Hey, yeah, give us your feedback. I just realized we're getting a bunch of comments and not responding to a single one.
Just say hi. Everyone's saying hi.
We should have said hi to everybody. Yeah, hey, should we just shout out some random names? Hey, Megan. We say hey,
Yes.
Megan for sure.
Megan's here.
Hey,
Jessica's
Kelly. Hey,
here.
Darcy. Should we do them all at the same time, Kat? Or maybe you should just do them.
Just cluster it
could
together.
be,
Everyone.
That could be confusing.
John,
Yeah.
you grab all the ones that start with M through Z. Kat will do A through whatever letter comes before M.
I can't do letter math live. Are you kidding me?
I'll do anybody that has weird non-alphanumeric characters in their names.
Oh.
Hey, Sally, Marcus, Jessica, Lorenzo, everybody. Okay, hey.
Everybody.
Oh, I see Sonny already
We've greeted
responded
4
with
people.
mannequin.
Now we're tired.
And okay, so I guess mannequin is their suggestion. Anyway, okay, so John Williams has hinted that Indiana Jones 5, the forthcoming likely last entry in the Indiana Jones film franchise, might also be John Williams' last film. Why are you shaking your head already?
There's no way this will be the last Indiana Jones film. Maybe the last starring Harrison Ford. There's
Okay.
no way this is the end of the franchise. But okay,
Is it
to continue.
Right.
just too much money to be made?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh, we're going to
Yeah.
retire it. And then you're going to get about 3 or 4 years and it'll go, revival. It's going to happen again. That's when you got a cash cow like that, you don't put it out to pasture.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm okay with that, depending on if they choose the right actor, or it could be, look, what we talked about this, right? Ki Hui Kwan is back acting now.
Yes. Yeah.
Why not have a short round film, right? We could do that.
Exactly.
You
A
saw-
spinoff.
On board.
He was kicking
totally
butt
on
in
board
that,
with that. Oh, yeah.
Movie.
I would love
But John Williams hinted that, look, legendary composer, right? I mean, is there another composer in our youth that scored, I wouldn't say of our generation because he's not of our generation, but that scored more of the important films to our generation, I suppose, than John Williams?
I can't think of anyone.
I
Any
have a close one.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Danny Elfman.
Oh,
Close.
yes, of course, yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Close.
Mhm.
Not as storied a career and not as big a box office draw, but damn close.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm. I agree.
I'm sure he's many people's favorite as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got other favorites too, but as far as volume goes, you're right. Elfman's got a lot. Williams has got, I mean, no one can compete, I don't think.
Right.
John Williams hinted that in addition to it being Harrison Ford's last outing, it might just be his as well. He pointed out during an interview with Associated Press that he said, at the moment, I'm working with Harrison Ford, who is quite a bit younger than I am, I think, has announced that it will be his last film. So I thought if Harrison can do it, then perhaps so can I.
How old is John Williams? 90?
Why not?
What?
90 years old, right.
Wow.
He pointed out that the 6-month commitment often required for these films might be even too much for him at 90. He said, at this point in my life, it's too long a commitment. But he made it clear that he's not closing the door to not doing any types of music because something may actually spark his interest. And most recently, he did return to do some music for the Disney Plus Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to wonder
Kathy
at
has a
90 years
question about
old.
that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just saying, at 90 years old, how many more 6 months does he have in him? So those are big commitments when you're at that age. I'm feeling my back hurts now, and I'm not even close.
I feel like, look, this is really dark. Maybe we don't want to go so dark so quickly in the show here.
Dark will.
Discourage any new listeners. But
Dark
I feel like at the closer we get, right, the more things you start counting like that and keeping track. How many more Christmases and birthdays and
Yep.
yeah, if you're getting to 6 months, you do something. But imagine he loves it. Wouldn't he love to die at the? While he's
Come back up there.
Oh,
dun, 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 dun.
oh. Join the rank of decomposing composers.
In the middle of composing. Just
And I could suggest a tombstone for him because this thing is got heft.
just change the cover.
All right.
Kathy's asking,
Yeah.
didn't he retire and they dragged him out to score Obi-Wan? Did he already retire once? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't think he actually ever officially retired, Kathy.
He just took a break.
But that is the last project he's done, as far as we know. And I don't know if I think he did the theme, and that was it. There was some other composer that did the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did it well, very much in the spirit of John Williams.
And if you're John Williams, you have a storied enough career. You have the money you need. There's no reason to do anything you don't just want to do for the passion of it, right? I mean, John Williams is making rent. I mean, he's okay. I'm sure he's not like anybody, write music for food. He's in fine shape, I'm sure. So if something comes along he loves, I bet he'll jump on it, even if he does retire.
Yeah.
I'm counting on it.
Not about jump, maybe hobble over,
maybe
Hobble.
Teeter over.
Teeter.
Boy. Hey, in other 1980s news per Entertainment Weekly, Sylvester Stallone condemns Rocky spinoff Drago. Actually, next week we're going to be talking on our next episode, I should say. We're going to be talking about. We're going to catch up on all the sequels and reboots for. I shouldn't say all, because their list right now is like 3 dozen. Seriously, reboots, sequels of 1980s film and TV that we've been promised. And see, did they ever happen? Are they still coming? Some of them, I'm going to tell you right now, they happened already. You don't even know it because they lasted for a few months and they got canceled already.
And then,
a season.
A lot of them went to streaming. Yeah, they were just in and out.
So here's another one. A couple of weeks ago, for folks who don't know, it was at the end of July, beginning of August, Sylvester Stallone went all Rambo on Rocky. Producer Irwin Winkler, who he has no love for this guy. And not only did he attack Winkler, he attacked the guy's kids too. And if you don't know who Winkler
not physically.
is, no. Just, can you imagine? So if you don't know who Irwin Winkler is, I'm just seeing some of the comments.
He's the Fonz, right?
There are some comments. Yeah.
Marcus says, "Damn it, Will! Why did you make Counting Christmases?" Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man.
What does that mean?
Because I said, as the older you get, you start counting these holidays.
Oh.
Yeah.
And now he's going to start counting his Christmases.
Sorry, man, I put that in your head.
Yeah.
Kathy, Roadhouse is one of the films coming up. That's right. We're going to talk about that.
That's
Kelly
right.
says they should not redo any 80s movies. They're perfect.
Leave them alone.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about in the next episode. We talk about that. Are there any 80s movies that were conceptually great, but just they couldn't pull it off at the time? But anyway, back to this story. So yeah, if you don't know who Irwin Winkler is, he's the guy who produced all the Rocky films. I believe he won an Academy Award, Irwin Winkler, for the first film that he directed. Anyway, so sharing a news article about the upcoming Drago, Sly wrote, quote, "Another heartbreaker just found this out. Once again, this pathetic 94-year-old producer and his moronic, useless vulture children, Charles and David, are once again picking clean the bones of another wonderful character I created without even telling me."
Wow. Colorful,
and then he wrote,
colorful
language. Then he wrote JK and put a smiley face. No.
Hey,
clown ass.
Adrienne, I'm going to kill this producer.
I would not. Yeah, I would not want to.
And he kind of walked it back after. Yeah, it was pretty vicious.
He came on pretty strong there in the beginning. Yeah.
He concluded with an apology to fans, writing, "I never wanted Rocky characters to be exploited by these parasites."
Wow.
He's since deleted this tweet, however.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it was deleted. Okay.
Yeah. So because some other stuff, I'm probably mostly behind the scenes happened because despite his opposition to the project, Stallone made it clear that he has no hate and no animus toward Dolph Lundgren, who actually played Drago in Rocky 4.
Right.
And also he reprised his role in Creed 2. Did you guys know that? Are you watching the Creed films? You are? Okay.
I haven't seen them. Yep. Yeah.
Are they any good?
They are.
Oh.
The first one especially. The second one I might have fallen asleep during. That's no judgment on the film. I just don't. I don't remember the ending at some point, but they're quality. Yeah, I enjoy them, and I know that Stallone was in the second one, which I thought was very cool because there was a reunion between him and Lundgren in a diner because Dolph Lundgren is like training up his son to break Baby Creed.
Oh,
I will break your son.
The spoiler alarm is going off, John.
Spoiler alert for the movie from 4 years ago.
I haven't seen it. If I haven't seen it, it's a spoiler.
Whose fault is that?
I can't tell you. It would betray confidences. So that's encouraging, I suppose. But in spite of the fact that Stallone, I guess, had faith in those films because he played a role in those, he was apparently surprised by this one. But he has nothing against Lundgren in particular. And Stallone has been vocal about his wish to overtake the control of the franchise in the past. It turns out that he has no rights no control over Rocky, and he never has. Now, he was a young person when he made the first film.
That's nuts.
Very fortunate to be able to get the deal he did. So, but it turns out he still has nothing. In fact, he went on to complain about this, saying that after Irwin, this is Stallone again, after Irwin controlled Rocky for over 47 years, and now Creed, I would really like to have at least a little of what's left of my rights back. A lot of these words, by the way, are in all caps. Not all of them. It's kind of like when you read like the Constitution, and pronouns are in caps and verbs are not.
Is that a comment on how old Stallone is? That he writes like the founding fathers?
He is a founding father, in a sense.
Yeah.
He wants what's left of my rights back before passing on to your children. I believe that would be a fair gesture from this 93-year-old gentleman. So it's unclear if Lundgren would return to play Drago, even though a news report had linked him to it, which is what caused all this dust up in the first place.
Right.
So Lundgren actually took to Instagram to set the record straight, writing, quote, "There's no approved script, no deals in place, no director, and I was personally under the impression that my friend Sly was involved as a producer or even as an actor. In touch with Mr. Balboa, just so all the fans can relax." Now, it turns out, regardless of this feud that may or may not be bubbling and whether Drago is actually happening, Stallone and Michael B. Jordan, who plays Apollo Creed's son in that spin-off franchise, will be reprising their roles in Creed 3. So Stallone's still going to be in the next one.
Oh.
It's coming out next year, March 3rd.
Right.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Those parasites using his character. Oh, unless I'm in it, then it's super.
Then that's okay.
Yeah. And like we just talked about a minute ago, he's another kind of like statesman of 80s cinema that doesn't need to do anything he doesn't want to do anymore. I think he's more interested now in the rights and control than he is in the check he's going to get for being in it. Probably. I get that. He created Rocky. So yeah.
That's got to be tough, It turns out if I found out Erwin Winkler was in charge of this podcast, or I'd be upset.
I thought he was.
You'd be a little.
That's who pays
missed.
me. Who pays you?
You get paid?
Oh, perhaps I've said too much.
I'm doing a spinoff to this podcast. It's also going to be called Drago.
I'm going to do a spinoff too.
Parasite.
It's going to involve.
That was easy.
Here she goes again. A spinoff would mean you do it later at a different time on your own, not during this one.
Whoops.
This is a backdoor pilot for that, is what we're doing right now.
If you're just joining us, we're going to be giving away this book, which weighs a lot. It's Pac-Man.
You're just joining us. This book is heavy. Thanks for tuning
If
in.
you're just joining us, this book is heavy.
Can you
but I'm willing
turn
to
it?
give it to you.
Yeah, show
Can
me
I
the
turn
thickness.
it? See the thickness of it?
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
And it's hardcover, right?
Yeah, I wish I could give you some kind of point of reference here. Here's a pencil.
I know you have a ruler there somewhere. I know you
It's
do.
just out of reach.
And where's your level?
It's several pencils thick.
Well, it's almost as thick as Will's hair is tall. That is saying something. Look at that. Look at that.
There's a
You're
measure.
right. But not ants and mounts. I wouldn't be able to lift that book.
It's about half an Anson mount. Yeah.
So I'm curious if you guys, would you even see a Drago movie? Now, John's a fan of the Creed movie, so would you hang in there for yet another bites at this apple?
You didn't ask me if I was a fan. You asked me if I'd seen them. I had seen them. I thought they were good.
Okay.
They were good. That doesn't make me a fan. I like the Rocky, fan of the Rocky films. But that being said, I would absolutely watch a Drago film.
Yeah.
Yeah. What, are you kidding? To see Lundgren and to see the continuation of that. After seeing him in Creed 2 and seeing how he's kind of broken after, I want to see, I'd like to see more of that.
I'd need to catch up a little on the Creed thing, and I would definitely watch it if we were going to talk about it here. But I don't think I'd really go out of my way.
Well, let's see. Amy Johnson says nope to Drago. So does Kathy. Marcus says, for sure it would be about Drago's kid. Yeah. Now, Drago's kid was in Creed 2, right? You said he was fighting.
That's right.
Okay.
He was trying to kill Creed's son in his father's tradition.
It's really
The business, the family business.
sounds like
Yeah,
a
it's a-
miss.
What do you do? Oh, we kill Balboas.
Yeah.
It's 11.
Okay. And Kelly says, absolutely not.
All right.
Okay. Hey, another 1980s news. Finally, this is our last story here. According to Yahoo Entertainment, Kiefer Sutherland apologizes for an 80s hairstyle that is making a comeback. Now, I wonder, does anybody know or have a guess as to what the 80s hairstyle is without even?
Oh, come on, guys. Somebody say it.
Well, for more than three decades ago, believe it or not, when Sutherland was 18 years old, he made a film starring as Megan.
Yeah, Megan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Amy says mullet as well. He starred as a bad boy vampire biker in Joel Schumacher's 1987 vampire classic, The Lost Boys. In that film, Sutherland rocked the classic mullet. You know what that is. Business in the front, party in the back.
Yep.
Right. Now, speaking to Yahoo Entertainment recently, Sutherland has taken responsibility for unleashing the mullet on the world. Why would you do that?
Right.
Why would you ever admit that?
Don't you want to just sneak away from that
Yeah.
association? Did either of you have a mullet?
I don't right now.
I mean, ever.
Oh,
Come
Ever.
on. Ever.
I want to know, Will. Did you
I
ever
could see
have a
John with the mullet 100%.
I could.
I did
too.
not have a mullet. There's pictures of John with the mullet.
there are no photos in the internet that I am aware of with me with a mullet.
All right. I'm going to have to do some digging.
I'm going to talk
On
to
the
your
DOS.
mom.
Possible.
In the dark web.
Possible. But
We're going to have to social engineer a way to get your mom to produce some pictures.
I have no recollection of ever having a mullet.
Kat, is there a female equivalent of the mullet? I mean, women can have mullets too.
Well, certainly. But I just don't think it's called that. I might need help from Kathy. Help me out here.
What,
or Megan. The high hair, the perm.
Oh, that's called the Jersey hair.
Yeah, Jersey girl hair. It's probably the equivalent.
Wait, Megan says, not to brag, but a kid in Arkansas went to the national mullet competition.
Wow.
Did he
What?
win?
Yeah. And is that a source of pride?
And what are the categories? Height, length.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a ratio of the height to the length.
How much party? How much business?
How much business? How much party? You want a work-life balance in your mullet is what you're shooting for, is what I hear.
I bet you what the competition is they set him out on job interviews.
If he doesn't get the job, good mullet.
Yeah. He didn't have enough business in the front.
And nobody see in the article that we're talking about, Will, that he was actually trying to mimic one of his favorite rockers at the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Billy
Yeah,
Idol.
Billy Idol, of course. The 24 actor said that his look was inspired by a rocker, as John pointed out. And he said that at the time, Keith Sutherland had what he described as wrestler hair. So I guess it's probably all long, I'm imagining.
Just a big old, yeah.
Then he hated that hairstyle. So then Billy Idol had just come out and he was the coolest and had the coolest hair. So they wanted a balance of Billy Idol with the spiky hair, and the Joel Schumacher wanted the length. So that's the mullet was the compromise. Yeah. And Kiefer Sutherland says, quote, "I actually think I may have been responsible, at least partially responsible for creating it. And for that, I apologize to the death."
So that means it's Schumacher in the front and Sutherland in the back then? Is that the compromise?
Oh,
Yes.
I like that.
That's a neat thing. Yeah. Do you have the Schumacher Sutherland combo? Go to the barbershop and want the Schumacher Sutherland.
The Schumachers, this is not a bar. You can't order a Schumacher Sutherland in here.
I did some digging, of course. And as you guys know, well before Billy Idol, there were other folks who rocked the mullet. David Bowie and Rod Stewart in the 70s. And even before that, Tom Jones had one in the 1960s. And I did find out that mullets have also appeared in antiquity. The earliest evidence of this regrettable do was a metal figurine dating back to the 1st century.
A metal figure.
It shows the natives of Britain were partying in the back under Roman occupation. And if you recall, oftentimes depictions in film have Native Americans with that similar style like that. Turns out in the 17th century, they were described by pilgrims as having, in contemporaneous documents, as having that hairstyle. Quote, describing it as long behind, only short before, none on his face at all, end quote, is how one pilgrim described the hairstyle of a native.
That doesn't rhyme at all.
I thought it was going to rhyme too.
It sounded so good. Yeah.
Like it was.
How does it scan? Is it
It's so like
Japanese?
welcome to Native American iambic pentameter. Oh, it didn't work out. Crap.
Long
Ruined it
before,
at the end there.
long behind, only short before. None on his
John.
face at all.
Turn it into a
more.
limerick, John. I challenge
Right, you
you.
need something.
We need a limerick for that.
I need time to create. I'll get back to
Okay.
you.
All right.
Yeah.
Check this out. Although so in digging to try to find the history of the mullet, I was also looking for the etymology of the mullet, and it turns out the internet is littered with spurious claims that a non-existent French fashionista, Henri Mollet, was the first to wear the mullet. And his last name, Mollet, M-O-L-L-E-T, became mullet. That guy doesn't exist. It's a bunch of bull. But the Oxford English Dictionary credits one particular hip-hop group from the 1980s as having first coined the term in 1994, I believe.
Okay.
Any guesses?
No.
The Beastie Boys!
Oh yeah, really? Did they?
Yeah. I think it was Check
my
Your Head.
gosh.
I think it's Check Your Head.
Did
There's a
Will
song
just
called-
play correct answer music
got
for
it right.
himself?
For
He was
himself.
reading it off the paper. It's like, I am so good.
I got it right.
Hey, congratulations, Will. Well done.
He needed a power up.
Oh, did you hide this Marcus thing after it came up?
Well,
Sounds like an unfortunate end to date night. Schumacher in the front and Sutherland in the back.
Sutherland in the back.
You know what? I'm going to let this one go. I have some thoughts. I'm going to let it go. John's letting it go too, which is funny when we're on a video podcast. For some reason, we're not saying things that we would normally say on the audio.
You're being so well behaved.
When people can't see us. Well, people can see us now. Yeah,
now they know who said it.
Kathy says Billy Ray Cyrus is probably responsible. Yeah, too, right.
Yeah.
He had up through the 1980s as well, right? Okay,
Megan and Marcus both guessed the Beastie Boys.
Oh, they did?
Got it with you. Do the power up again. Yep.
Oh.
For them.
What'd you say? Do the power up?
You know, the music.
Yeah.
Is that
victory music.
You
You got to play it for Megan and Marcus there. See, they got the Beastie music.
That's the power.
They didn't read it off the paper like you. They deserved it even more.
Yeah.
Paper. I had to memorize. Hey, that was 1980s news.
Greetings, we're Technically a Conversation, a podcast for curious people by curious people.
Every week, we take turns presenting a new topic, and the other host has no idea what the topic will be.
We strive to educate in a way that's loose and fun. Our topics are all over the place, from light and funny to dark and sometimes spooky.
Some of the topics we've covered include urban legends, civil rights activists, vampires, pop culture icons, the supernatural and occult, spies and espionage, science and astronomy, and other weird and random things.
If any of these topics interest you, give our podcast a shot. Listen and subscribe at technicallyaconversation.com, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Parental advisory, we might use strong language.
Oh my God, I can't talk anymore. Ow.
You missed it.
All right. Hey, as we've threatened on this episode, we're going to be talking about the worst. How do we say it? The top 5 worst of the worst 80s movies with the best music.
The best of the worst.
Right.
That's so concise. Love
I
it.
see folks have got a number of different suggestions on here. And look, we're only going to get to 5. And we'll explain why we picked these 5. Because a lot of these are great on here. And I'm going to read some of the ones. Let's see. We'll just share right now. Fast Times at Richmond High is a great soundtrack, right? But I think that's probably regarded as a great movie too, right?
It's a good movie too, right? Yeah.
So that
more
one,
people would like it than not. Yeah.
we're going to get to Joseph's suggestion on our list here. Last Action Hero, amazing soundtrack to a movie no one saw. I don't remember the soundtrack, but you're right. The movie definitely was lackluster. It was very ambitious, but
Let's see that one.
It was.
didn't
I
exactly-
liked that film. I like the Turbo
too.
Man.
Yeah.
Turbo Man is a great collectible still these days. If you can get one. Yeah.
Wait a second. Turbo Man in Last Action Hero?
Oh wait, no, that was Jingle All the Way. It was the
Yeah.
other horrible Schwarzenegger movie. My bad.
So he has no feelings about Last Action Hero. He loves Jingle All the Way. I do like Jingle All the Way, by the way.
I
That's a
get those
horrible
two
movie,
mixed
but I
up
like
all
that
the
one.
time. I don't know why. I don't
Well,
know.
they both
Yeah.
have Schwarzenegger because they're both terrible and both have Schwarzenegger in it.
I guess. Yeah. And I've probably seen them both twice.
Yeah. Bill says Up the Academy. All right, Bill, you stumped me. I don't even know what that is.
Oh.
Huh. What is that? Megan says Flash Gordon. And you know what, Megan? We were all set to do Flash Gordon because it appeared on a number of lists, but on hindsight, a couple things. One, look, at the time, you're right. It was a bomb. It wasn't regarded very well at the time. Now, if you look at it, it probably has a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes. But that's because people are writing about it now, how great it is because it's got a cult
It's a
following.
cult classic now. Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I think the reason, not I think, because I know, the reason why we didn't ultimately include Flash Gordon is hum a tune other than dum 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 dum. I'll just do it. One of you guys join in. Dum 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 dum.
Flash!
Flash!
Savior of the universe.
Was it Savior,
Dude.
Savior of the Universe?
I mean, other than that, the sync is off because of the time.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know.
Fix it in
So
post.
right, yeah,
Yes.
we will. But you guys at the live get the crappy version. Anyway, so that's why that one's out.
Congratulations. Thanks for being here.
Marcus says Jumping Jack Flash, National Lampoon's European Vacation. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
They came up on no list, so they were off my radar.
The soundtrack doesn't grab me. It doesn't jump out and go, oh, the soundtrack from that vacation film. Doesn't grab me.
Yeah.
But we have a great list. We have a great list.
Yeah.
Right.
If we do say so
Okay.
ourselves.
So yeah, and again, it's the worst. It's a top 5 worst of the worst 1980s movies with great soundtracks. Something like that. All right. Hey, I'm going to do one here.
Yeah.
I'm going to do one here. And this is one that disappeared on a number of lists, and some folks, I think, on... I didn't write down that anybody on Facebook suggested it, so maybe they did and I just don't remember. Streets of Fire, the 1984 film. Right now, again, look, this one holds a Rotten Tomato score of 68% right now, but that's because, again, people are retconning, like, and appreciating the genius of it 30 years, somehow 40 years ago. At the time, people didn't know what to make of it. There was a lot of sort of mixed reviews about it. It's an unusual film. As described in the opening credits of the film, it's a rock and roll fable. Maybe fable keys us into that. It's kind of creating this world where almost anything can happen because it's a mix of different genres of films. It's set in a world that seems to have 1950s aesthetics, but it's, addressing 1980s mores and values. Anyway, it was directed and written by Walter Hill, along with Larry Gross. That pair created the idea for this film and began production on it while they were completing 48 Hours, a much better film that the two did together.
Yeah.
And because 48 Hours was so popular and was well received, the studio was like, whatever you want to do, we'll do it. And this is what he pitched them. According to Hill, the origin of the film came out of his desire to make what he would have thought was a perfect film as a young man. So, guys on motorcycles, guys having, witty quips, guy getting the girl, kisses in the rain is one of the things he listed as.
Okay.
It was you got a comment about kissing in the rain?
No, just listening.
Young boys dream about kissing in the rain, Kat. You're not a young boy, so you don't know that. This is what Hill said. I didn't say that.
Don't dream about it too.
No, young girls dream about upside down kisses. I don't know.
Upside down.
Anyway, he said also that it was influenced in part by the films of George Lucas, John Hughes, and by the movie Flashdance. Anyway, so and you can kind of tell because again, this film is like all these things kind of lumped together. At one point, the Hill and Gross looked at each other and said during the production, I think as they started editing the film, I'm like, I don't think this is it's coming out the way we thought it would come out. We didn't really stop and consider what it would be like mashing all these things together. And of course, it starred a number of soon-to-be celebrities, including Michael Paré, Diane Lane, Rick Moranis, Willem Dafoe. But it only grossed $8 million in North America against a production of $14.5 million. Now, it's not a coincidence. Streets of Fire is the name of the movie, and it's not a coincidence that it shares the name with the Bruce Springsteen song that came out the decade earlier in the 1970s, because originally Springsteen had given them permission to use that song at the end of his film.
Oh.
Then he found out that they were going to re-record it and have a different person sing it, and he took back, he
deal breaker,
reneged on the rights.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
So, to the I guess, to the credit of the film or to the credit of the producers, they brought in legendary songwriter, music producer Jim Steinman.
Right.
Unfortunately, Steinman just passed away last year, but prior to that, he had a storied career writing hits for a number of folks you certainly have heard of: Celine Dion, Bonnie Tyler, and his longtime collaborator, Meatloaf. The Bad Out of Hell album, that's entirely Steinman. His song about not knowing what to, what is it? He'll do a bunch of things, but he won't do a certain other thing. Jim Steinman, right?
I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Well, that sounds much better than what I just
one.
said.
Yeah.
I'll do anything for Schumacher, but I won't do Sutherland.
The biggest... I'll have Sutherland in the front, but not Schumacher in the... Wait, I'll have... Sutherland's in the front. Schumacher's in the back. I think Marcus is in the back.
Schumacher.
Yes.
Sutherland.
In the front.
Anyway.
Now, there's one song on the soundtrack you absolutely know. It's Dan Hartman's "I Can Dream About You."
I love that song.
That's the most successful song on this particular soundtrack. It actually was a top 10 hit. But the Steinman songs that they're bookends in the film, because he has an opening song and the closing song, are really what everyone regards as the heart of the film. Nowhere Fast and Tonight Is What It Means to Be Young.
Yeah.
sort of set the pace and the energy of the film. It almost seems like Walter Hill, especially at the beginning and the end, is editing to that frenetic sort of pace of the opening number. In fact, Steinman was so good at what he did that when Springsteen reneged on the rights, he wrote they asked him to write the closing song. He wrote it in 2 days. It turned out to be so perfect for the movie that Joel Silver, who was the producer, spent another $1 million commissioning them to what did they call it? Reshoot the closing to the film so they could have Diane Lane's character sing.
Wow.
I don't think she didn't actually sing. I think that she was just singing to someone else.
Yeah.
And many regard the ending of the film as the best filmmaking of Walter Hill's career, including, look, this guy made The Warriors, 48 Hours, like I mentioned, and another example of how just amazing a songwriter Jim Steinman was. And that's all you need to know. You don't need to see it. No, actually, you could see it. It's really weird.
It's not worth seeing, but you can listen to it.
It's well regarded now.
I see Kelly in the chat saying, I listen to the soundtrack frequently. And I don't know if Kelly is talking about.
Yeah, which one, Kelly?
Oh, the jazz singer. She's talking about the jazz singer.
The jazz singer.
Because Megan mentioned the jazz.
I don't know. So you guys are having a whole other show. They're having a whole other show about different movies in the chat. That's fine. Megan is hosting her own thing.
That's
go,
called
Megan,
engagement. We'll take
That's
it.
good. Very good.
Go, Megan.
All right. Hey, John, you want to tell us about one? I know you picked out one.
I do. Yeah. And I feel a little bad putting this on a list of worst movies because I don't hate it. I really like it. But it's typically not a good movie when you ask anyone that is objective, which I'm not. So I chose 1987's Stallone vehicle, Over the Top. Yep. Stallone is a tough truck driver named Lincoln Hawk, determined to win back his son and triumph at the World Arm Wrestling Championships.
Oh, yeah.
See, Kat, you're doing it. All I can picture is he's in the cab and he's got the pulley with the weights on it. Yeah, I'm driving a truck. Right? It's just...
He's got one giant arm. The other one's a chicken arm. Chicken wing.
That's all I could think too. What about his other arm?
Yeah. So Rotten Tomatoes gives us 32%.
Oh, wow.
That feels about right.
But the audience says 49. So they're kind of split 50-50.
Okay.
John on there, like.
I'm creating new accounts. I don't care that
bots.
We have some fans in the chat here too. They're saying, ooh.
Yeah, Over the Top. Yeah, we'll see. And Kat, you and I can meet together on this one because we're both children of truck drivers.
10 forward, buddy.
I hadn't thought about that.
And so this film, now I was not estranged by my father. I had a great father who got along great. I saw him all the time when he was home off the road. But in this case, Lincoln Hawk was separated from his son early on. And he never had a relationship with him. And the mother is sick, and she has asked him to drive him from his military academy across to California. And during that time, get to know one another. The kid even says, do you think you can make up for 2 or 3 years or in like 10 years and 2 or 3
lifetime
days? He's like, nope, not even trying. But so Stallone he's gone on record as saying that he did not like the final version of the film.
Okay.
He said that if he directed it, he would have changed it to an urban environment and used a score instead of all these rock songs. The very thing that got it on our list, Stallone would have said, no, we're not putting those in our song. We're not doing the movie. He didn't want to do the movie, honestly. He said that the director kept offering him more and more money till he just said, what the hell? No one will see it.
I really felt like it was obvious to me that he actually didn't want to do this movie.
Do
I got to tell you, I had never seen it.
He kind of phones it in, doesn't he?
Just watched it today. I just watched it today. Yeah.
You watched it today?
Today.
Why? Why would you do that?
Because I wanted to be in the know. I wanted to be able to chat about it.
He's not at his most Stallone of any film ever, certainly. He's very subdued. It's very different. And the film is, admittedly, it's very melodramatic. It's very predictable plot with the mean grandfather who is, been hiding the letters that he's been writing all this time. But whether you like the film or not, first of all, it passes the 80s litmus test.
Yes.
Meet Me Half the Way by Kenny frickin' Loggins is on the soundtrack.
Yes.
So you're off to a great start.
The strains of that got me through some of the scenes, I gotta say. Because there's so much about this that's cheesy, and the dialogue is a little painful at times.
Is that the song they keep playing over and over again?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God, they just overused it in that
It's
movie.
in the background a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah. I'm a little perplexed though.
Yeah.
In the movie, Stallone keeps saying the world will not meet you halfway. He's trying to impress this upon his son, but the song is
The song just meet me halfway across.
Well, isn't the
the
movie
sky.
about him learning to meet halfway though? Like Stallone is wrong in that regard, isn't it?
Well, all
isn't that
right.
his arc?
It could be. Yeah.
There is no arc. That's why you're confused.
Maybe that's it.
None of the characters learn anything or change.
Again, it's pretty melodramatic.
Yep.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Well, his son meets
but basically
him.
all of the ills are caused by an evil granddad. That
Yes.
causes all the problem in the movie. So
Yep.
it's like nobody did anything wrong. We're all victims of
Yeah.
Daddy Warbucks, who is super rich.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, Sammy Hagar's "Winner Takes All,"
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
another great track in this film.
That was a very
Sure.
exciting scene as well.
Giorgio Moroder did a track in that movie too, although I don't know offhand which. I'm pretty sure he did. Giorgio Moroder did so many songs for so many movies, but I'm pretty sure
Actually,
he did.
wasn't he the producer of the music, like in charge of
all of
the
it?
music for
Oh,
the
maybe.
movie? Yeah.
And other big names. Eddie Money had a track in there. I
mhm.
Will Be Strong.
He did. He did.
Asia,
Yep.
Supergroup Asia.
Asia
I can still
was
see
in
the Asia
there.
poster when I close my eyes. It was hanging in my bedroom. But yeah, Gypsy Soul. Maybe not their biggest track, but
Right.
Yeah.
and the tracks from Robin Zander, Larry Green, Big Trouble, and contractually obligated Stallone film, Frank Stallone has a song.
Oh.
Who's not a bad songwriter.
He's not.
songmaker.
No,
No.
You know, he gets a lot of guff, but he's not a bad. He's not a bad
Yeah.
artist. It's just
Not
I
at
think people think he's a kind of riding in on the nepotism train, but he has his own chops. I think he's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. One of my dance recital dances was to that when I was like 12.
that-
To what?
To that one for
Far
Staying
From
Alive.
Over. Yeah, Far From Over was the song, right?
Really?
Is that what it's called? Yeah.
That's that's not from this film though. Far From
No.
Over,
That was
No,
in
no,
this
no.
movie.
Yeah.
No.
Staying Alive or Saturday Night Fever.
There's
One of those.
another Frank Stallone track.
One of those.
I forget what it was.
It's that one with that real musical intro. It's very din 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 din
Yes.
din.
Ah, now I know it. Yep.
Before
Yeah.
Frank.
Yes.
Clear as day.
That one.
All right, hey, let me tell you about one. As we're running out of
Lay it
time
on.
here. Hey, I want to tell you about one, and I know some folks here suggested it as well. Let's see who. Somebody did. But I know on Facebook, Greg Andrews, Brian Byrne, and Scott Brannick all suggested Purple Rain. So look, a few lists that focus on the worst movies with the best music include 1986's Under the Cherry Moon, which is a Prince movie. And look, it's true. That movie was a bomb. But the soundtrack only really had one hit on it, Kiss,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
had already been released months before and already became a hit on the
its own,
quote unquote soundtrack album Parade. Now, the Parade came out like 6 months before the movie came out. And somehow it's the soundtrack. Whatever. I don't know. I guess you could do that. So Kiss was huge before people saw this movie was a bomb. But that was it. So the ratio of crappy movie to music is pretty tight, you know? And I think ultimately for me, that was a lot of the considerations and why Purple Rain makes it. Because again, while the movie probably right now on Rotten Tomatoes has a high score, let's see what I got, 70%. The critical consensus also on Rotten Tomatoes is that it's uneven, but it's held together by a slew of amazing songs. And so ultimately the ratio of the film, even if you regard it as mediocre, Purple Rain, the songs from it are so popular and so many. That ratio, it's huge. It's like we were talking about the ratio of the hair, the front to the back.
It's a mullet.
Megan's competition. It's the mullet ratio you could apply to this movie.
Yeah. So you're saying like the super solid soundtrack is just it's the glue that holds together what otherwise without that music.
Yeah.
You take the Prince out of it. What kind of movie is Purple Rain?
Any of the compliments that this movie gets, it's like the music is amazing. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Take the music out, movie's just garbage. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's kind of crappy, I think, even with the music in it. But look, it was commercially successful. It grossed $72 million worldwide against a $7.2 million budget. Siskel and Ebert featured it on their top 10 list of best films of 1984.
Wow.
For those who
Nothing else
don't
come
know,
out that year.
a lot of stuff came out in 84.
I know.
That was
The
kind
best.
of
I know. What?
popular.
I think we see it clearer in hindsight, right? I think maybe they were blinded by the magic of Prince.
Purple.
It is a powerful emotional film thanks to the music, but again,
Yes.
if it's sans music,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can't extract them too, but if you did, you're right.
Yep.
Now, it's Prince's acting debut, but you've got other folks in the film as well, including Apollonia, Morris Day, Clarence Williams III, and it features several concert sequences, which marries the music in the movie in such a way that the music's really still holding the film up. And it won an Academy Award. That's how good it was. The Academy Award, though, was for Best Original Song Score. So again, the music.
Right.
I don't have to tell you folks listening to this, but the soundtrack album of the same name featured the chart toppers When Doves Cry, Let's Go Crazy, Purple Rain, I Would Die For You, and also includes the filthy 15-track Darling Nikki, the controversial one we talked about several episodes ago. It's certified 13 times platinum.
Yeah.
Having sold over 25
Deservedly
million
so.
copies. And check this out. At the same time it came out, they released, spin-off albums, because in the film, the Time performs Jungle Love and The Bird.
Oh, yeah.
I had to dance to Jungle Love too.
You did?
for recital,
Oh, wait, I'll do the Bird. Wait, I'm doing
yeah.
The Bird to Jungle Love. Oh, right.
And Go Cat. Go.
Mash up.
Do
Yeah,
Jungle
Cat,
Love.
do it. Hang on.
I want to see it.
Oh, all right.
I think there was something like that, I guess. I don't remember.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Give the people what they want.
I was going to give you the winner thing, but whatever.
Ooh,
The power up. Whatever you call it.
That was easy.
So you got that spin-off album that came out, was also considered part of the soundtrack. So two, again, very popular songs. Apollonia 6 was, they also had their debut album, which was a self-titled Apollonia 6. Not as popular as The Time, of course, but look, again, Under the Cherry Moon stinks, but one good song off of it. Purple Rain's mediocre with, what did I mention? 4, 5, 6, 7
At
bangers,
least.
Yeah.
as the
At
kids would
least.
say today.
Speaking
All
of
right, there you go.
controversial, look, Kathy got grounded for seeing Purple Rain.
Yeah. It was the Darling Nikki song and that whole thing, probably.
Yeah.
I'm talking again, I guess. Oh, shoot. Okay. All right. So I know this one. All right. So here we go. Now you can put Greg's verbose thing on here. All right.
Okay.
Let's say here. The music for Maximum Overdrive is done by AC/DC and has, all right. Greg, you're stealing my thunder. Get out of here. All right. Hey, so Greg suggested Maximum Overdrive, and
Thanks for being here. Get out.
it also appeared on a number of lists as well. We can share some folks' comments about Purple Rain in a moment here. Maximum Overdrive came out in 1986. Rotten Tomatoes, 15%. That's one that, look, even in hindsight, that hasn't moved. That probably, if it moved at all, it started at 0, probably. It was a comedy horror written by Stephen King, and also it was directed by the legendary author in his directorial debut. The screenplay was loosely based on a short story of his named Trucks, which follows the events of machines becoming sentient and murderous. Is that a word? When the Earth is crossed by the tail of a comet, and I think at the end of the movie, it's implied that maybe there's a UFO in the comet or something.
This is the one with the big green goblin mask on the front of the truck,
Yes.
right? Oh, yeah. Again, trucking movies, got a lot of play in my house, gotta say.
This is 2 trucking movies.
Yep.
Oh, hey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is not a truck driving movie at all, but
No.
it had a big rig in it, right? It has 18 wheels. You got a
A
little
lot of
credit.
big rigs. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the criticism read of the film was that essentially it just comes down to one long car chase. Kind of the film
It
itself.
is. Yeah.
I want to tell you something. I had never seen this movie.
And you watched it today.
Wait. I tried to watch it today, but there was no good, easy, cheap way for me to watch it except with these snippets of mishmash videos on YouTube. So I watched it in the worst possible way. It like little bits and pieces all in the wrong order.
Oh,
It would not be improved by, however, watching it quote unquote properly.
I saw enough. I saw everything I needed.
So what are we talking about? Maximum Overdrive. So Stephen King, look, Emilio Estevez, Pat Hingle, Yardley Smith is in it. Again, generally negative reviews. It was a bomb, objectively. Nominated for 2 Golden Raspberry Awards, including Worst Director for King and Worst Actor for Estevez, but both lost to Prince for Under the Cherry Moon. There you go. There's tied together.
zing.
King himself
amazing.
called it a, quote, moron movie and swore off directing. He's never directed again after that.
With good reason.
But why is it on our list? Because even though the movie is lackluster, the soundtrack truly rocks. And King, being the most popular author at the time, I believe, that's anecdotal. What the Master of Horror wants, the Master of Horror gets. And what he wanted was music from his absolutely favorite rock group.
Right.
And so he reached out to AC/DC for them to provide some music for the film, and they agreed. Now, the early 1980s was a mixed bag for AC/DC. They had lost Bon Scott, had replaced him with Brian Johnson, but then they had Back in Black, which is a huge hit, and then some other records as they went on sort of started waning. But this hit them at the right time, and although they created 3 new tracks for the film, including the titular, it's actually not titular, it's the theme, I guess, Who Made Who, and 2 instrumentals. The rest of the songs from the soundtrack are already popular songs from ACD's catalog.
That's what I was wondering, if there were any made specifically for the movie. So really one.
Just really Who Made Who, if you've ever heard that,
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Put good songs in it. And when Stephen King calls in the 80s, you pick up the phone and you say yes.
So the soundtrack album,
unless he's asking to direct another movie, you don't say yes.
So Who Made Who, the album from AC/DC, is technically the soundtrack for Maximum Overdrive.
All right.
It includes, again, it's filled with a number of songs that were previously released from the band, including You Shook Me All Night Long, Hell's Bells, For Those About to Rock. Again, a bunch of hits. The album itself peaked at number 33, and the title track, Who Made Who, became a hit on the radio. And again, their sort of popularity or record sales were waning at this time. This Who Made Who album set them up for their next album, which was their highest charting record since For Those About to Rock. What was their next album? 1988's Blow Up Your Video.
Oh.
Is that the name, or that was instructions to me? I don't know.
You know, that old chestnut.
I hope you didn't forget to do that.
Kat, bring us home. Let's try to.
Right on. Here I go. Yeah. And I got to say, I'm feeling bittersweet about mentioning this movie, partly because of course, because of the very recent passing of its star, Olivia Newton-John. But also, I got to say, I loved this movie, and not just because of the soundtrack. But you'll maybe hear a little more about that later.
Are there truck drivers in it, Kat? Is that why you loved it? Hey, Morgan, buddy. Xanadu.
Buddy. Keep the pedal to the metal.
The shiny side up, the greasy side down, Xanadu.
That's my new handle. Okay. So we are, of course, talking about Xanadu, which is a 1980 musical fantasy written by Richard Christian Dennis. Am I pronouncing that right? I'm quite sure. And Mark Reed Rubel. And it's directed by Robert Greenwald. It stars, of course, Olivia Newton-John, Michael Beck, and also Gene Kelly. Love Gene Kelly.
Oh my gosh, yes.
In his final film role, this was produced at the tail end of Discomania, and it's a brightly colored fantasia of regrettable fashion. That's Will's words. I just need to point that out there. Regrettable fashion, amazing hair, and horrible special effects. Okay. Box office disappointment. Xanadu earned negative critical reviews. Variety called it a stupendously bad film whose only salvage is the music. And it was also one of the original inspirations for publicist John J.B. Wilson to create the Golden Raspberry Awards.
Another connection.
Yes. Oh no. One of the inspirations is this movie.
Yeah. I do love the movie too. Kat, I couldn't tell you the story though. It's just too wacky. I have a feeling about it. I don't have knowledge about it.
It's too surreal. I could not tell you the plot. Right. Yeah. Like I watched it begrudgingly because I dated someone in junior college that made me watch it. So I was required to watch it.
It was one of their favorite films, I guess.
I don't know. We're not dating anymore. I'll tell you that.
Now he's dating
that story does not have a happy ending.
Oh no.
He's dating an arm wrestling trucker. Sorry, Kat, go ahead.
Over the top. John's going over the top. So yeah, it's what is it about? There's a love story in it. There's reminiscing about love story. There's the creation of a rock disco roller skate rink.
Sure.
Kind of. Yeah. Anyway, despite the lackluster performance of the film, the soundtrack album became a huge commercial success around the world. So, featuring music from Olivia Newton-John, Electric Light Orchestra, Cliff Richard, and the Tubes, it was certified double platinum and reaching number 4, or reached number 4 on the US Billboard 200 and number 2 on the UK album charts. The album grouped, I found this very handy, grouped Olivia Newton-John and ELO onto separate sides of the album, of the vinyl, and some tunes from the movie were even excluded from the album. Let's see. Australian songwriter and producer John Farrar collaborated with Newton-John for nearly 2 decades. He wrote her US #1 hit singles, including 2 he wrote for Grease, You're the One That I Want, and Hopelessly Devoted to You.
I was just talking to my family about that.
You were?
So we got a conversation about Grease, the original Broadway musical, and how it was different from the film, and which songs were created for the film versus the movie, and that's two of the ones I pointed out. Yeah.
So those were not in?
No, they were written specifically for the movie. Yeah.
How about that? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very cool. I could start singing those songs, but I won't. And for Xanadu, he wrote. You guys have to help me though. You're the One That I Want. Needs a partner. It needs a partner. Somebody else to start
John's
it.
got a beautiful voice.
One of you has to get the chills.
It's going to be Future Robert singing if he does, so watch out.
I want to hear Future Robert get the chills, and then they multiply. The multiplying chills from Future Robert. Yes.
Oh, we'll make that a Patreon bonus.
I am hopelessly devoted to Future Robert, however. But as for Xanadu, he wrote Magic from Xanadu, which also reached #1 in the US. And Suddenly, I could sing that one too, which peaked at number 20 on the US Billboard Hot 100. On the flip side, ELO's I'm Alive and Don't Walk Away each reached the top 20 on the US Billboard Hot 100. But the title song, Xanadu, also written by Jeff Lynne of ELO and performed by Newton-John, was a top 10 hit in the US.
Yes.
And reached #1 in the UK and several other countries around the world. I have a deep cut question for Will about this movie.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Although it's probably not that deep for Will. One of the dancers in this movie. Okay, you already know what I'm talking about.
Oh, he knows already. Yeah.
He already knows. I don't
One
need
of
to
the
give
dancers in this movie was in the film Conan the Barbarian? Is that what you're going to ask me about?
No.
Okay. I'm thinking of a different movie.
Yes, that must be a whole different movie. You know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't. I have no idea.
You don't? Oh, I'm so excited. One of the dancers, okay, here's your clue, is one of the stars is in a favorite 1984 movie for you. Well,
okay.
Well, I was only going to give you that clue.
One
I figured
of the dancers in it?
And
Under the Cherry Moon. It's got to be. Top 10. Just Glenn Ebert.
Shabadoo.
Oh, okay.
Adolfo Shabadoo Quinones from Breakin' is one of the dancers.
Wow.
He's in a zoot suit in multiple. Oh my gosh.
That was sort of his, that was his look.
Yeah.
Oh,
another
really
guy
fun.
Gone too soon recently.
Yeah.
I have a parenthetical anecdote about Xanadu, and it's connected only by name in that. So I grew up in Central Florida, right near Kissimmee, where the main drag is for Disney. And there was an attraction along the side of the road called Xanadu, Home of the Future.
Ooh.
And it was basically these bubble houses that someone once told me that like they inflated tarps and sprayed concrete on them. They had no frame. Anyway, it was a tourist attraction. I never went because I hated the movie. And so therefore, I'm like, I'm not going to go see whatever that crap is. Turns out not even related to the movie, in name only. But the Xanadu film was enough to tarnish this roadside attraction for my entire life. The duration of its existence, it's gone now.
So all I was going to say, is it still there? Can you read it yourself?
Nope.
Oh, man.
Nope. Crumbled.
I totally would have gone.
You would have,
Yeah.
I don't think they were playing the music. I think it was just the name.
I would have been singing. So I have a couple more things I want to say about this.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This movie is hugely sentimental for me. I know a lot of people think it's ridiculous or, bad or whatever. But I watched it so many times, partly because it was on cable. And we could just do that over and over. We also wore the album out. We were always spinning Xanadu. And I'm not sure how many 9-year-olds are film critics, but I sure wasn't. And the only thing about Xanadu that I had any reservations about was that, I don't know how to explain this, but I was mistrustful of ELO.
Oh. Why?
Because it was the first that I heard of them. This was my introduction to ELO.
They weren't in the film, though. I mean, they didn't play the antagonists.
No, but their pictures were on the album, I'm sure.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Jeff Lynne with his like big fluffy hair.
It was Jeff
His
Lynne. He was
beard,
all
probably.
shaggy. Yep, the big
and
beard. And
glasses.
he was like intimidating looking for me for some reason. And while I recognized even at the time that they were contributing to this really great music, I just sort of tolerated their involvement. But for me, it was all about Olivia Newton-John and her voice, and Michael Beck was cute, and Gene Kelly. He's just awesome. He was dancing in a pinball machine. I mean, like, it doesn't get better than that. And so
Doesn't it?
Just all the different styles of dancing and the skating, and it was just fun and celebratory for me.
Speaking of dancing, Kathleen in the chat requested that we'll do some pop and lock for us.
Oh, I saw that.
I'm on board.
All right, here you go.
Wait, that was me. Oh,
And there you go.
Wait.
How was it?
Oh,
I finished.
You hit
I tossed it to
yourself.
you. And then I tossed it to you, Kat.
You bastard.
what am I supposed to sing now?
So I actually did think you were asking me about dancer actor Sandal Bergman, who played one of the muses in Xanadu, and she also appears as Valeria in Conan the Barbarian.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
All right,
So Will was writing his own trivia question for you.
Let's clear out the chat and let's get out of here. Let's see. Tiffany says she loved both Grease and Xanadu. Why? What do you mean question? Love them. I love them. I don't even know how to convey that emotion.
There. Yeah.
Love them.
Did somebody say that earlier and she's disbelieving?
I don't know. Breakin's an awesome movie. Yeah, Kelly, we did. You know, now we talked to Michael Chambers many months ago. Thinking about, should we get him on a Facebook Live interview where folks can chat with him? He's got a lot of stories. Michael Chambers, Boogaloo Shrimp.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Matt Latanzi was in Greece too. I don't know why that's over there. Olivia's ex-husband. Oh, okay. Right.
Oh, okay. Yes. They met on the set of Xanadu, actually. He was one of the dancers.
Wait, is he? He's not the guy who disappeared, is he? The fall off of a boat and then disappeared? Remember that people think he faked his own death?
I don't remember. I
don't think so.
That might have been a different guy.
All right. Hey, let's give away a book and then we'll get out of here, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So here we go. All right. So look, again, we're giving away this book here. It's Pac-Man, The Birth of an Icon. It's cookandbecker.com is the website that is our sponsor on this episode. That's giving it to us so we can give it away to you. Hey, if you want to find out more about this book, by the way, John, our very own John right here, he moonlights with his own YouTube channel called Gen X Grown Up, and we're going to put the link to his YouTube video about the book in the chat right now. Magically, hopefully it just appeared there.
As if by magic.
All right, so cool. So here's how we're going to do it. So all you got to do in the comments is write hashtag Pac-Man, okay? Then from that, the magic of technology will pick a winner among the folks that are still with us live right now on Facebook Live. And again, join us follow us on Facebook to find out when we're doing this stuff like this again. Next, of course, we're going to be we're going to be doing Facebook trivia at the end of the month, August 30th, with a special surprise celebrity guest who appeared in many 1980s movies. Where is it on there? Kat, can you find that on there? Oh, there it is.
What am I looking for?
Pac-Man, there it is. I see it.
Oh, yeah.
Share that. Can you share that? So I can
Add
do
to
the
stream?
button. There you go. All right, so here we go. Here's
Here it comes.
See who won the Pac-Man book.
Oh, it's like a wheel, but not. It's slowing down. Slowing down.
Sean Hockney!
Hockney! Ooh, look at all that confetti. Somebody's got to clean that up.
I know, it's going to be a disaster in here.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Will sweeps up after every time. It's fine.
Hey, Sean, just like Carol Burnett at the end of her show. Hey, Sean, we'll reach out to you on Messenger or through Messenger on Facebook to get your info and get this. I don't know how this is going to, I don't know what kind of package this is going to come in, but
it's going to be $18 in shipping.
Yeah, probably. The book itself is worth $50 or 40 some odd bucks.
Can you overnight it? That'd be cost more than
Wait, where do you live?
It'd be more than the book.
Just come pick it up.
Right.
Yeah.
He's in Venezuela. Good luck. International shipping.
All right. Hey, our show is brought to you every week. And again, if you're just joining us on the live, join us on our podcast. Every week you can find us on any podcast platform. All of them. Seriously, all of them. And every week on Monday, we drop a new episode talking about 1980s pop culture. But we are brought to you, not only this episode, of course, is sponsored by Cook and Becker. You should check them out. But every week, every episode is also brought to you by our Patreon supporters, including our early adopters, Kathy Burke, Rick Barker, Karen Flieger, and our Secret of My Success level Patreon supporters, John Henderson,
Craig Coletta, John Kaminsky, and our very own John Reddick.
I got you.
They're multiplying.
All right, guys. Hey, we will see you again. Oh, what did we say? Hey, we will. We'll talk to you. Hey, we will talk to you again next time on 1980s Now.
Next time.
Bye-bye.